Here we go!
Did you know? Professor EGAD was originally going to be a playable racer in Mario Kart DS, but was ultimately swapped out for Dry Bones. EGAD's model is missing from the game's files, however, with the character using Toad's graphics and audio and hacked back into the game. This could suggest EGAD was cut very early in development. We say this because there's actually other early models in the game's code, such as this unfinished Shy Guy that lacks actual arms and feet, and is green instead of red like in the final game. This wasn't the game's only big change during production. Arguably Mario Kart DS's most innovative and important feature, online play, wasn't originally planned at all. In fact, it wasn't even considered until about halfway through the game's development. The team at Nintendo EAD believed 8-person local multiplayer would be enough, but when internet play became a possibility, they decided to challenge themselves to include it. To test out online play, developers would race each other from their homes after work. The game's director Hideki Kono would sometimes take a hot bath, then drink a beer before racing. Kono said on Nintendo's Japanese website, "I'd say meet you at 1, and at that time everyone would come online. Iwata joined us too, but no one played for fun. No one cut any corners, everyone was serious. Even Iwata would say, no one is playing for fun." The team had other concerns about Wi-Fi beyond just getting it to function. They worried about how it'd be used by players, and the different cultural perceptions of online play. Kono said, "In Japan, when players hear the words Wi-Fi connection, they take a step back and say, online play? That sounds difficult. Or, if I play, I'm going to get harassed by other people. But in the US, players are more positive about it. In Japan, only 10% of the people who purchase games with online functionality are taking them online. Our goal is to get 90% of people who get Mario Kart to try online." Back then, Mario Kart DS was called Nitro Kart internally, a nod to the DS code name Nitro. This name was never disclosed to the public, but it explains why the game's new courses all take place in the Nitro Grand Prix. Mario Kart DS introduced several new items to the series, such as the blooper. Originally, this item used the design of the bloopers from Super Mario Sunshine, but in the end, its appearance was changed to that of a more generic Mario blooper. Fans generally welcomed the new item, but some hated it, including Nintendo's own staff. At E3 2016, E-Online asked Nintendo of America's then-president Reggie Fils-Aimé what the worst item in the entire Mario Kart series was. Reggie simply replied, "I hate getting inked." Triple bananas were a new item type, but were originally going to be implemented very differently. One idea for the bananas was that players would tap the map on the bottom screen, placing a banana wherever they wanted. But the team quickly realized taking focus away from the top screen, where the action was, resulted in muddled and confusing gameplay. Nintendo tried to do a lot more with the bottom screen throughout development, but felt the fast-paced gameplay made managing 2 screens impractical for players. Interestingly, both triple bananas and triple shells were cut from online play. When asked about this by Wired, Kono said, "Our goal with online was to make it as close as possible to the local gameplay. But while the ability to have a shell or 3 bananas dragging behind you looks easy, actually it's something very difficult to accomplish. I think we probably could have done it, but it was just one of those areas where we had to say, we're gonna stop here." The team instead focused on maintaining a high frame rate of 60 FPS in every mode. Nintendo EAD wanted to truly push the DS hardware and surpass the visuals of Mario Kart 64. Kono believes they surpassed the N64 game in graphical prowess, and believes the gameplay in Mario Kart DS outdid the tight controls of the SNES original, which is a favorite in Japan. The staff at EAD tried to stay true to the series, but aimed to make the game's courses look more mature than in Double Dash. In fact, Shigeru Miyamoto explicitly told the team, just because it's part of the Mario world, it doesn't mean it should be too childish. The game has a lot of unused content from Double Dash within its data, like the blooper graphic, as well as an unused Bowser Shell item graphic, a background tree, and even a whole soundtrack worth of music in the style of Double Dash. Miyamoto's statement could explain why so much of the Double Dash content was purged from the final game. Speaking of removed or altered content, Mario Kart DS has an astonishing amount of cut assets, mostly found through data mining the game's 2005 USA kiosk demo and other early builds. In the kiosk demo, practically every course deviates from the final version. Some of the more noteworthy differences can be found in Waluigi Pinball, which might as well be a completely different stage, having no pinballs at all. Another interesting fact about Waluigi Pinball is that the course was originally titled Luigi Course, suggesting Luigi was the focus of the level, not Waluigi. The Luigi's Mansion course holds another difference, where the mansion's paintings shake and stretch out from the wall, just like they do in Mario Kart 7 on 3DS. The Delphi Delfino Square stage originally had a Yoshi statue in its center rather than the more appropriate Pianta, and bumping into this course's fruit stands knocks players out of bounds. The early Shroom Ridge stage uses the start flag from Mario Kart 64, and amusingly, the sign that reads Fresh in the final game instead says Flesh here, giving it an entirely different vibe. Tick-Tock Clock also had a different layout, with the center of its map using a different arrangement of cogs. Other early builds of the game also show that DK Pass wasn't originally going to be a winter-themed level, and was more of a grassy plain. There's also a few unused courses in the final game's data. Although most of them are clearly test stages or early versions of other courses, some are unique. A beach level titled Noko Noko Course can be found, which means Koopa Troopa Course in Japanese. The level seems to be a mix of Koopa Troopa Beach on N64 and Koopa Beach 1 on SNES. Another scrapped stage is Dokkan Course, which in this context likely means pipe course, a fitting name for a course that has several huge pipes in it. There's an unused battle stage in the data that's a remake of Block City from Double Dash. The stage is fairly unfinished, and whether the stage was made specifically for testing isn't clear. A remake of Mario Circuit from Double Dash can also be found, which lacks polish and is void of obstacles. The level ultimately made it into Mario Kart Wii, which funnily enough lines up with Hideki Kono's statements. Before Mario Kart Wii was even announced, and when the Wii was called Revolution, Kono said, "We're finished with DS development right now and I'm working on Revolution stuff, so hopefully a lot of that cut stuff is going to show up in Revolution games." On top of unused courses, the game also has many unused missions. Across all builds of the game, around 30 unused missions have been found, all with goals comparable to those in the final game. Practically every kart is different in these early builds too. Instead of having unique emblems, the early kart designs just use numbers. Pre-release versions of Mario Kart DS had most of the final game's items, but notably lacked any fake item boxes. The kiosk version's data does contain an image of a purple Koopa shell, however, as well as depicting a triple purple shell. Another interesting leftover in the game's code is ASCII art depicting Mario's sprite from the original Super Mario Bros. This was likely left in the game to fill up empty space. The kiosk demo also has several sprites from Mario Bros. Classic in its data, and while some of the art is used in the kiosk build, most of it goes entirely unused. One of the game's features may point towards an unused promotional contest. Mario Kart Double Dash had a contest in Japan through Club Nintendo, where players would choose any combination of character and kart, then try to get the best times on several courses. They'd then press a specific combination of buttons to bring up a code containing their last time trial runs. The code would then be submitted through Club Nintendo, and the fastest players would be rewarded. For Mario Kart DS, if players press up, down, L, R, Y, A in the time trial records, a similar code will pop up. This might suggest Nintendo was planning a similar contest for the DS game. Speaking of differences between the West and Japan, in the international versions of the game, Rob is colored dark gray, while in the Japanese version he's white and red, just like the original regional differences. Additionally, Rob is called HVC-012 in the Japanese game. This is because despite being known as Family Computer Robot in Japan, Rob's model number was HVC-012. This is because the Famicom's model number also started with HVC, which stood for Home Video Computer. For other localizations, several karts reference real-world cars and vehicle brands. In the Spanish game, Daisy's Power Flower kart is called the Asara Flor, which is a pun on Escarabajo, the Spanish name for a Volkswagen Beetle. The Spanish version also calls Waluigi's zipper cart the Wavitzen, a portmanteau of Waluigi and Harley-Davidson. The German game is probably the most bold, with Donkey Kong's Wildlife kart literally using the brand name Jeep, with its name being the Safari Jeep. The name of Mario's B-Dasher is a reference to classic 2D Mario games, where holding the B button would make the player move faster. The appearance of the kart also references the Honda RA272 Formula 1 car, which was designed by Yoshio Nakamura and Shoichi Sano for the 1965 Formula 1 season. It's best known for being the first Japanese car to win in Formula 1. Mario Kart DS was one of the most anticipated DS titles, and ultimately sold almost 24 million units in total, making it inevitably attract the rumor mill. The game's very first rumor alleged that it'd be a Nintendo DS launch title in Japan, and that it'd be available January 10th in the United States, after Japan. However, the game wouldn't release until November 2005, and was in fact released in Japan almost a month after North America, Europe, and even Australia. Another rumor that's been circulated by various Mario-themed wikis is that the game was planned to have some connectivity with Mario Kart Super Circuit on the Game Boy Advance. The rumor alleges that when a DS is turned on with both Mario Kart DS and Super Circuit in the DS and GBA slots, Super Circuit will be listed as an option pack on the DS home screen and cannot be played. The option pack listing usually only appears when a peripheral is inserted into the GBA slot, want, such as the Guitar Hero button expansion. If the rumor were true, it'd mean Mario Kart DS was specifically looking for Super Circuit to be inserted, hinting at some planned connectivity. However, this isn't the case. If both games are inserted, Super Circuit can be played normally. Another rumor is that Birdo may have been planned for the game. Not only is there an unused pink egg card in the game's files, but the default green Yoshi egg card is called Egg 1, despite being the only card in the entire game and series to use the name Egg. This has led to speculation that the pink egg would have been called Egg 2 and tied to Birdo. However, this is simply speculation, and the name Egg 1 may simply be a reference to F1 racing. Did you also know that an official HD version of Mario Kart Wii was finished years ago, but was never released? Or that Paratroopas and Petey Piranha were planned for the game, but cut? For more Mario Kart Wii facts, check out the video on screen.